Good day. It is episode 62, which means it is March 3rd, 2025. And on today's episode, first, let's back up a second. I hope you guys are recovering from the Oscars and from the gastrointestinal distress that the food challenges may have incurred. So, welcome back. Good to see you all back in the hot seat for three great topics. Today we're talking the Tush Push. I'll explain more to those who don't know. I'm going to highlight another board game that I love, near and dear to my heart. And we're going to talk about a maxim of my life, a new Ian sort of, not a mantra, or words to live by, but just some advice that I'm going to give with you for free that I hope you take to heart. Okay, so let's dive in. What is the Tush Push? So some of my audience is going to be like, oh, I can visualize it. I know exactly what it is. There might be some other folks who are a little unclear. The Tush Push is a NFL football play made famous by the Eagles, not necessarily specifically a Philadelphia Eagles play, but most famously associated with them. It's when the quarterback is pushed forward through the defensive line by the players behind him. So picture a team, let's say they're wearing green uniforms, quarterback's in green, offensive linemen are in green, all the same team. The quarterback goes forward and people are literally pushing behind him, okay? The running back and the tight end are lined up behind the quarterback and push the quarterback through the defensive line. This is used in short yardage situations, obviously, and mostly like 4th and 1, when you're on the 1 yard line or 2 yard line and you want to get that touchdown. Very high success rate if done properly. And what I say done properly is the Eagles are incredibly good at the Tush Push. They have converted a lot of short yard plays into touchdowns seemingly effortlessly. So essentially, the quarterback goes forward and he is literally pushed into the end zone. I don't know when this was developed. This is a fairly new play. Basically, there was a loophole. There was a gap in the rule book. This was not explicitly banned. And so teams started doing this. Here's where I am on the Tush Push. I don't believe a player technique should be banned strictly on the basis of one team being really good at it. If this was a cheat code for all 32 teams, it would be different, but it's not. This is just a team that has found a way to eke out a higher than the average percent chance of conversion on a goal line play, a 4th and 2, 1st and 2, whatever it is, very close to the end zone. So basically, I kind of like when teams open up the playbook and open up the rule book and find different ways to kind of maximize advantage. Like I said before, the NFL and most major league sports are leagues of parity, where the top team and the bottom team and the middle team are separated by very little in terms of athleticism and skills. They're all generally using the same playbook. The caliber of coaching is excellent across the board, right? There's no big misses. So the Tush Push is one of those things we might see in a couple of years. Somebody might look at the rule book and be like, hey, this is not explicitly banned. Let's go for this, right? I think this is cool. I think being inventive and being open to novel techniques is good, especially if you're going to embrace the fact that it might get shut down. At some point in time, the commissioners, the NFL owners might rule against this. But for now, I think that this is fun to see. No one's exploiting anything because it's open. It's open season. Everyone's seeing them do this. I think we keep it. So I am pro Tush Push. I think the name is also fantastic, which doesn't hurt, right? Okay, my second thing I want to highlight is a board game that I've had for a long, long time that I want to recommend to you all. It's Bohnanza. To be or not to be. It's actually a German game. Uwe Rosenberg is the game creator. He is kind of a phenom in the field of board game design, card game design. The idea of this game is there are several different kinds of beans. So we got green beans, chili beans, blue beans, lima beans, green beans, coffee beans. And depending on how rare the beans are, so there are a lot of coffee beans, so they are not worth as much. And there are very few in comparison green beans or red bean or cocoa beans, which I think is the rarest. And essentially you are planting fields. Everything's card based. The front of the card is the bean, the back of the card is the currency. So when you convert your beans into currency, you just kind of flip and keep, and you have your gold coin stack. And what's fun about this game is you're encouraged to do table talk and trades, and you have to play beans in order of how they're revealed in your hand and in your bean fields. And you can cash them out once you've accumulated enough. But if you flip a bean and it's not the one you're collecting, you can trade it, and you can do different things to kind of maximize your advantage. This game I think is really fun for a couple of reasons, but I think primarily it's a cool design. It's a new, like, beans gardening, kind of fun, different. And then the trading and the table talk and kind of the strategery that you can employ by making trades and kind of like utilizing the ability to move beans around the table to the multiple players is fun. So I recommend highly Bohnanza. I don't know if the word Bohnanza translates to in German to bean or something similar. Super fun game. Takes about 10 minutes to learn. Probably takes about 45 to 60 minutes per game, and 4 to 5 players is about that sweet spot. You can do 3, but you're not going to have the variability and the complexity with just that many players. So that's another game I want to recommend, and something that I have. And okay, so that's number 2. Moving into 3, I might give you a bonus 4th. I'm feeling generous today. So my third thing is, and this is not something I've coined, but it's something that I've taken to heart in this year of the Lord 2025 and tried to put into play, is if something takes less than 5 minutes, you should do it immediately. What do I mean by that? I mean that can be related to chores, just different things around the house. I used to historically make to-dos for things that took 5 minutes or less, and now I just do them, right? And I get that accomplishment, and I get that throughput and the finality of it in the moment. So if you're thinking about things that are going on in your life, if you're putting dishes in the sink, my recommendation is at the completion of that task, just do the thing, right? It's mostly just, it sounds trite, but just do the thing, do the task. If you're spending as much time thinking about it and making to-dos and deciding when you're going to do it in the future, like, oh, I'm going to do that after this or after that, my recommendation is if it takes 5 minutes or less, just do it right then and there. Now, there's exceptions to this rule. You're in a rush. The thing is an unknown time frame, or there's weird parameters. This is not an ironclad rule, but it's a rule that I heard once, and I said, it sounds really simple, and a lot of rules are simple, but I think it's useful. And I think that if you can convert 2 or 3 of those tasks or jobs or even mental activities that are going to take you a few minutes and just crank them through and do them, you're going to be fine. Okay? So that's my advice to you, is if it takes less than 5 minutes to complete it, just do it. Just find time in the next 15, 20 minutes and do the thing. Okay? All right. My bonus thing is, and this is more of just a little thought experiment, is I've gotten into the habit of playing Connect 4. I would say almost daily. And it's a very simple game. You want to get 4 in a row, diagonally or vertically, horizontally. And you have yellow or red pieces, and you alternate. And if you get to be really good, I'm not that good yet, but I'm getting there. Going first is a huge advantage, similar to chess, where essentially your opponent's always on the back foot, always having to defend. But how good can you get at Connect 4? At some point, I imagine it's just a multitude of draws, or you eke out very, very few wins here and there. Kind of like chess, where the majority of games, especially if white goes first, you will either win or you'll draw at the high level, right? I bring this up because it seems like one of those games where you get marginally better and then you kind of hit a wall. Connect 4 is best played when you're very evenly matched. I will tell you that. I did read that Uno, which I thought was a game of pure chance, has a world championship in Vegas, of course, Vegas. And so to me now, that means that there is some small percentage of gamesmanship and aptitude and skill. I wasn't sure if Uno was completely just luck-based and sort of the quote-unquote family game of the day, but there's an Uno World Championship, which means you can get good at Uno. I want to see how good I can get at Connect 4. So I'm challenging everybody out there in the ethos. Let's meet up. Let's play Connect 4. There must be an online version. I want to see how good I can get at that. I know I'll get smoked at the high levels, but I'm feeling good, feeling like I'm on a roll here. So anyway, let's recap. We talked about the Tush Push. Let's keep it for now. We talked about Uno and Connect 4, and I showed you Bohnanza, and I gave you some advice. Just do the thing. Small tasks, crank them out. You'll feel so much better at the end of the day. Now, the big ones, you got to plan. You got to deliberate, put it on paper, put it to do. I'm all good with that. All right. Be good to yourself. Tell a friend, share the pod, share the episode. I will see you guys all tomorrow.